Hi guys, today we're going to go over page 101, how are physics formulas utilized. Okay, so we've talked about direct measurements or measurements collected with tools. We have the 7 basic direct measurements. The next thing we're going to talk about is indirect measurements, and an indirect measurement is a measurement that has some relationship between multiple direct measurements. It's either adding them together, subtracting them. What we're going to deal with is usually multiplying or dividing them. Okay? So to find an indirect measurement, you must have 2 direct measurements. Physics is all based on algebra. The algebra is always simple. Multiplying and divide formulas that are given to you on a reference sheet. The only problem is that you will always be missing one piece of the formula. You're going to have to figure it out. We use the T method, which is the easiest way to find the missing piece of an algebraic problem. Okay, the T method is also called the triangle method. And what you do is you have to figure out how to put your pieces of direct measurements in this triangle. Okay, so if you have an equation that says something like C equals A times B, what you are going to do hold on guys, I got to get my pen out here, is when it is A times B like this, you're going to put a line in between the X, and then you're going to put a line on top, and then you're going to move this letter right up there. Okay? Now, if it's A equals C over B, when they're fractions, they're actually a lot easier. All you're going to do is take this divisor line and extend it out that way, and then drop a line in between. The same way here, C over A equals B. You're going to do the same thing. Okay? You're going to have C on top, A on bottom, and the B on the bottom. Okay? So here's the cool thing about this. Once you've got it in the T or the triangle, all you have to do is say A times B equals C. So if they're both on the bottom, you are going to multiply every single time. Now, if you're dealing with C on top and A on the bottom, if it's up and down, you divide them. You put C in the calculator divided by A equals B. Now you've got C and B, you're going to put C in the calculator first, divided by B in the calculator second, then push equals, and that's going to give you A. Okay? I know this sounds really weird right now, but I will show you how it works. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's make this make more sense. If we've got 6 times 5, okay, if we were going to put this in the T method, hold on, my computer's going nuts on me. Go back here. Sorry, guys. Red. All right. I'm going to take this off. All right. So if we've got 6 times 5, if you've got a times mark, you put a line in between them, and you put a line over them. Okay? So if they're sitting crisscross of each other on the bottom, you're going to multiply. So what is 6 times 5? 6 times 5 is 30. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, if again times is right here, you're going to take this 30 and put it up here. This is up, down. If it's up, down, we divide. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Okay? Please remember to circle your answers. Okay? Again, 6 times blank equals 30. We know the answer is 5 because we've done this problem already twice. This 30 goes up here. That goes right there. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Okay? Now on this one, we've got a 30 divided by 6. 30 divided by 6 equals 5. What if we have 30 divided by 5? 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Okay? Okay. Now on this one's a little weird because that 30 is not offset on the top. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Okay? So remember, B times C equals A. A divided by B equals C. A divided by C equals B. Now we're going to get lots of practice doing this. Okay. Now, one of the things you've got to remember about units. Units are the like centimeters or meters or seconds. It is the unit at the end of every number. Every single number must have a unit. I have 5 bananas. Bananas are my units. I am 64 inches tall. Inches is my units. Units never go away. The numbers multiply or divide, but the units just stay as they are. Okay? 10 meters divided by 5 seconds. You can divide 10 by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. But you cannot divide meters and seconds. So you simply leave them there. So your answer is 2 meters per second. Hold on. Okay? Now, the divide sign, I always want you to remember when you hear the word per, that means divided by. Okay? Always means divided by. Miles per hour is miles divided by hours. Okay? All right, so you are going to use your reference table to convert the formulas into the T or the triangles. Now we're going to do a few of them with you. All right. Now mine are not in order as yours are. Mine are in order of easiness. Okay, so mine are the ones that are going to be easy, and we're just going to kind of work our way through it. All right. So this one is at the bottom of your reference tables under electricity. PVI, power, volts, and current. So you don't really care what the letters mean for you right now. What you need to know is how to put these in the T's. Okay? So V and I are multiplied, so you're going to put a line between them. Okay, remember, if you don't want them to multiply, you need to put a line between them. Okay, then you're going to put a line on top of them, and you're going to take this P and put it up here. Okay, that's your triangle. Now you do not need to write the triangle, draw the actual triangle. Yours can simply look like this. Mine will always look like this. Okay? All right, so the next one is F equals MA. Now this is going to be about a quarter of the way down your reference table. Let's do a different color pen. I'm tired of red. All right, you've got an F on the left and an M and an A on the right. So what we're going to do is separate the M and the A because they are going to multiply, and then put a line over the top of them, and you're going to put this F up here. So it is going to say F equals M A. Now, one of the things I want you to notice here is F is a capital letter, M is a lowercase letter, and A is a lowercase letter. Now, let's get this through your mind right now. Capital letters need to stay capital. Lower letters must stay lowercase. When we get into writing subscripts and superscripts, those need to stay subscripts and superscripts. You have to write your formulas exactly the way you see them. You cannot make it go faster. Make sure you say capital F here. Make sure you see lowercase m here and lowercase a here. Now, here's the next one. P equals mv. Now this is a momentum. Let's do blue. Okay, again, you've got P on the left by itself equals M and V together. So we're going to separate M and V, put a line over the top of it, and this is a lowercase p. The reason I know this is a lowercase p is it has a little ear right there. Okay, a capital P will not have that little ear. So you are going to make sure your P has that little ear. So this is momentum equals mass times velocity. If I have momentum and I have mass, I take my momentum divided by my mass, and that equals velocity. If I have mass and I have velocity, I'm going to multiply those. If I have my momentum and a velocity, I'm going to take momentum divided by velocity, and that's going to give us mass. Okay, V equals IR. We just did this one. Okay, now, this one's a little bit different. The way this is different is you have a triangle here. That triangle is called delta. That means the change of something. Okay, how has it changed? Most probably in these terms, this is a distance or displacement. D, I'm always going to call distance, right? What this is saying is you had a starting distance and you had an ending distance. And what you had to do was tell me what the differences between these are. Sometimes your starting distance is not 0. Sometimes you want to know what was the change of distance between 50 meters and 75 meters. Well, that is 25 meters. So you take 50, that is your final, or 75, I forget what numbers I was saying, but it just means change of. Okay, so this is going to stay with what is in front or behind it. So you're going to put your line here, and this one up here. That's a capital W. So we're going to make sure that is a capital W. Okay, that capital W means work. Work divided by force equals the change of distance. Work divided by the change of distance equals force. Force times the change of distance equals work. Again, you don't really need to understand how all this works yet. What we're concentrating on is the T. All right. So here's another one. This is wave velocity. Lambda and F. All right. Again, we're going to do the same exact thing as we did before. And we are going to separate. Now, you see this has a capital V and a subscript of W. That subscript stays with what's behind it. It stays with that. This tells me, V tells me velocity. The subscript W tells me we're talking about a wave velocity. So subscripts always stay with what is in front of it. Okay, F, this italicized lowercase f, is frequency. And this thing is called a lambda. The lambda means wavelength. All right. It doesn't matter that these are all funny words. You simply put the T there. And you put that right there. Okay. Again, the subscript stays with a capital F. We're going to take the M and G and split them up and put F sub G there. Okay. All right. So here's where we have the fractions. I actually find that the fractions are much, much, much easier to deal with. Okay. So all you have to do here is you're going to take this line and you're going to extend it out over there and then drop a line here. So what this is mass, density, and volume. Mass divided by volume equals density. Mass divided by density equals volume. Density times volume equals mass. Okay, let's try practicing with one more. Okay, we'll take this line and go right above it and do this. So distance, velocity, time. Distance divided by velocity equals time. Distance divided by time equals velocity. Velocity times time equals distance. All right, so here's a harder one. IMA. If you look at the second column on your reference table, you will notice that IMA is a single thing. Okay. D means distance or displacement. Capital E means effort. So this is the distance of your effort. This bottom one is distance resistance. So ultimately, this makes it into a relatively easy equation. Distance effort, distance resistance, and then IMA. Just like that. All right. So here's another tricky one. Not really tricky. What you have to know is a subscript of F means final. Oh, sorry. A subscript of I means initial. Delta means final minus initial. Now, the great state of North Carolina is actually giving you a hint here. It is reminding you that a subscript F and a subscript I equals delta. So delta equals final minus initial. All right? So ultimately, this is just a regular fraction. You take the final velocity minus the initial velocity, you find that answer, and then you divide that by the acceleration, and that equals the change in time. The delta V divided by the delta T equals the acceleration. Acceleration times delta T equals delta V. So remember, delta equals the triangle, which I didn't draw that nicely, I'm sorry, which equals final minus initial. All right, here is another slightly tricky one. The 1/2 stays with the M. The superscript 2 stays with the V. When you look at your second column, you'll see KE is a single thing. That is kinetic energy. So KE equals 1/2 or 0.5. I don't like fractions, so I go with 0.5 of the mass. Okay, times, you're going to take the velocity and square it. So if velocity is 5, you're going to say 5 times 5 is 25. If the mass is 100, you're going to say 50, right? So again, don't stress out what the letters mean. Just know how to put the T in. All right. This one, F sub G equals mass times gravity. If you look on your reference table, you'll actually see F sub means subscript. F sub G equals M times G. So here's how I write this one. PE sub G, look, they both have H's, so the H goes here, and you put M times G or F sub G. So if they give you a mass, it's going to be in some version of grams. You're going to use this equation. If they give you a weight and it'll be in newtons, you'll have this one. Again, all you're dealing with is the T right now. You'll understand the rest of this later. All right, this one, all you're going to do is this, find your whatever you're missing, and then you're going to multiply that by 100. All right, you now have the tools to solve any physics problems I will expect you to do for the rest of the year. The only thing that is necessary to memorize is the units, but that will come as we work through the problems. It is absolutely necessary for you to memorize units. There is very rare I will ask you to memorize anything, but I need you to memorize things like mass is always in grams. Okay? Volume is either in liters or it's in cubic centimeters. Temperature is always going to be in Celsius or Kelvin. Okay, you're just going to have to memorize them. And there is about 15 major ones that you will need to memorize. We will work through them. We will memorize them, and it will make your life much, much, much easier. All right. So your job is to go to page 1, continue on your 101 notes. Go to the next PowerPoint slide down, Google presentation slide down. You are going to look at your reference tables. On your reference tables, you have 2 columns. The first column gives you all of the reference formulas. The second column gives you what each of the symbols mean. So what you're going to do, and I believe this one actually goes in order now. So what you are going to do is you are first of all going to write down all the symbols and then what the symbols mean. So for example, V means velocity. Oops, sorry. You're going to write V here. You're going to write D here. You're going to write T here, and you're going to write a triangle. V equals velocity. D equals, you can write displacement. I'm going to write distance. T equals time. And this delta is final minus initial. Now you could write delta if you would like to. Now remember, all of this information comes from the second column on your reference, on the first page of your reference tables. Okay, the first column gives you the formulas. The second column gives you the symbol and the name. Okay, once you're done with that, you are going to put this in the T. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put delta D V, and that line means average, delta T. Final minus initial distance, final minus initial time, and average velocity. Okay, I'll do another one with you. Right? We've got A, we've got VF, VI, delta, and T. Now, I don't care what order you put these in. So I'm going to look at my second column. A, I know, means acceleration. VF means velocity. Final. VI means velocity. Initial. Triangle means final minus initial. and T means time. Okay? Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to put acceleration. I'm going to put delta final minus initial time. And I'm going to put final minus initial velocity. Okay? So I would like you to go on and finish this. And when you're done, I would like you to submit the activity and I will go in and grade it for you. Okay? Let me make sure that there is. I'll go through all of these. I will help you if you need help. And then that's it. I hope you guys have a good day. I will work with you on anything you're having problems with. Remember, when you're watching this video, all you're interested in doing is writing anything that's green or yellow. I will go over this with you in class and I will help you do it in class. Notes are only to be done at home. Nothing else is done at home unless we have already worked on it in class. New content is always started in class, okay? So when you're working through this, don't panic. That's what class is to do. Homework is notes and to finish whatever we did that day in class. Have a good day.